All right, let's kick this thing off. Welcome, everyone. So happy that you guys have joined us on our first hybrid user group since, well, actually the first hybrid ever, but we are back on the road doing our in-person user groups. We are here in sunny New York City today, kicking off our first in-person. And thank you for all of you guys who have joined us virtually on the line. So happy to see a lot of great names and so glad that you guys are still with us. We've got a great agenda lined up for you today, and we're going to go ahead and get started. A few things I'm going to go over with you guys, talk about some customer resources that are available to you guys, let you know some updates where you can find some new things in events and the new website and all of that. So let's jump into it. All right. Oh, well, today's presenters today, as you guys know, you're joining us to talk about the WebFOCUS Hub. So we will have Angie Hildeck and Dave Pfeiffer today to speak with you guys, and they will come on here just after me and start presenting on the Hub. All right, welcome back, ibi.com. So if you have not heard, we do have the ibi.com website up and live. You guys can now go to this website to find all of your IBI products, all of your solutions. We have our customer stories. We're moving all of those over to this website. You will be able to access your resources, which will include any on-demand webinars that we've done over the past couple of years, Focus Fridays, user groups, just other WebFOCUS type of webinars that have happened over the last couple of years. You will also be able to find upcoming events. So this will include virtual user groups, in-person user groups, Focus Fridays, webinars, road shows, conferences, things like that. This will all be available to you guys on the new ibi.com. And then we're also, you can access support from this page. It is at the bottom of the page. And I do want to preference by saying it does still take you over to the TIBCO site. We are working on that. But it is accessible for you from this page. So what's still coming? We are making improvements to this website. We are adding things and making it more user friendly and adding resources for y'all. But you're going to see some product documentation coming. We'll be able to provide links for like education and training for you guys. And there will also be a link here that'll take you to the community. So just bear with us as we make these improvements and these enhancements over the next coming, weeks and month or two. Just to highlight where the events are, again, up at the top, you can find under the event section, and this is where all of your upcoming events will be located. You can just simply click on those links to get registered. And then they will add to your calendar. So I know a lot of you guys were asking about this for a while, where are we posting these? So I can confidently say now they are on ibi.com. The community, our new TIBCO, or I'm sorry, it is still called the TIBCO community, but this is where our IBI community will live for the interim. I know a lot of you guys, we rolled this out last summer. I know a lot of y'all have registered and you're in the community. I know some of you guys out there have not yet. So for the time being, we would like to encourage you to still sign up and be a part of the community. You are able to access the WebFOCUS portal from the homepage that will take you into the WebFOCUS world, the IBI world in the community, where you'll find your documentation and your threads, and you'll be able to engage with your fellow community members. And we also have, and I'll share this on the next slide, a user group in there that you guys can join. One thing I have talked to several of you about is customer enablement. I know a lot of you guys are having some struggles with kind of navigating the community and where to find things and how to find things. So we are going to put together a customer enablement for you guys and offer that to help kind of get you updated in how to use it for a while. So just, again, bear with us. We're trying to make some changes and try to get IBI into, its own thing. But for right now, we are still on the TIBCO community. This is the private group that you can join out there. Once you are in the community, up at the top, there is a group section. Just request to join there. And this is just for IBI users, WebFOCUS users. So again, this is where we'll post about user groups and events. We'll participate in discussions and surveys around the community, and you'll be able to interact with your fellow community members as well.
There's one Q&A.
Sure.
That came in. Then is this yet another Q&A community portal, or will it all be combined from all the previous sites and destinations? Do you have an update on that? Or?
We do not have an update on that right now. Yes, we will, if y'all just bear with us, we will be able to provide that information, pulling, I guess you guys are referring to the old focal point community as well as the threads from my IBI. Those threads were supposed to be moved over, so they should be in there. If it does come down to just a navigation and trying to find where they are, we will make sure that we will be, we'll include that in the enablement to allow you guys to know how to access and where to find those. All right, Dan. Dan is going to speak to you guys a little bit about Gold support.
Thank you, Shay. Okay, I'm on camera. Well, good morning, everybody. And it's great to see such awesome participation via Zoom, but also great to see such an awesome turnout here in the room. We have a lot of customers here, and we have our partner Amtex. We have US Bank here, Fidelis. So it's great to see this user community really reinvigorated with really our first on-site user meeting in quite some time. We have actually people in the room from as far away as Colombia. So thank you for coming, sir, and our customers. So I think it's really important to understand our continued commitment to support to make sure that our customers are successful. As I'm sure you all realize now, we are the IBI team, support, product development, engineering, product management, product marketing, all the customer outreach. We're all part of an independent business unit within Cloud Software Group. And that gives us really the flexibility to run the business and run our support operation with you in mind, right? To make sure that we continue to provide the highest level of support. One example of this is our Gold support services. Some people here in the room and many of you in the virtual audience are Gold support customers. We've recently created many new services that we're integrating into the Gold support service. Under the previous company, we had a separate customer success team that provided nurturing services such as quarterly health checks, training, help with adoption and expansion, and to really make sure that you get the value that you're investing with our products. And so what we did was we've integrated that customer success function now into our Gold support service. So those of you who are Gold support customers, you automatically now have access to these new services. And as we roll out the program, we'll be talking to you individually about this on your weekly calls. We're very excited about that. And we look forward to really helping to drive more success and adoption and value, most importantly, at your site. The other thing I want to mention about support is for all of our customers, we're building out a new team in our offshore operation in India, Pune, India. And the reason we're doing that is because so many of your companies have really substantial WebFOCUS development operations in Bangalore, other cities around Pune. And we wanted to provide a expert team over time to provide that in-time zone support, in-country support to you. And so we're working with Tony Lee, who you know, who heads up that team, to really build that out and to create more subject matter expertise in that part of the world so that we can really continue to service our customers there. So more to come on both of these fronts. And again, I just want to emphasize, in addition to these enhancements that I just mentioned, we have that continuity of support management, of the product and technical depth, right? And across our organization, and we have very strong processes with the product teams, right, to make sure that your requests, your priorities are integrated into that product roadmap, which you'll see displayed here today when Angie reviews the hub. Also, next slide, yep. I want to give everyone a quick update on our Tech Refresh program. Tech Refresh program is a program that is built to help you to upgrade from your legacy IBI WebFOCUS environments to our new WebFOCUS 9. This is a program we put into place earlier this year, last year. And it's a program that will help you to kind of lift and shift your applications from a legacy release, as I said, to WebFOCUS 9. And then, once you're successfully upgraded, you can obviously enlist the services of professional services, one of our partners like MTech is here in the room, to do modernization, to do cloud migrations, right? So this is really to kind of get you to first base, and then you can work with those organizations to really get even more value out of the software as you upgrade. If you are coming up for renewal this year, your Tech Refresh program will be included automatically with your renewal. If your renewal is not coming up and you'd like to take advantage of the program, you just go to ibi.com and register, and we'll do outreach for you. So I would encourage everyone, as we approach the September 30th milestone to retire these older releases, these legacy releases of WebFOCUS, to really take advantage of this program, take advantage of our partners to help you get to that next release. So you can really, just as we're reinvigorating the user group program here today, we want you to reinvigorate your usage of WebFOCUS. Those tabular reports that have been pushed out with Reportcaster for years, let's refresh them into active reports, in document analytics. That self-service application where you're just picking on parameters on a flat HTML page, let's convert that to a portal, right, and modernize it. That's really where we want our customers to go, so that, again, you have that adoption, you have that value, right? Okay. Any questions from the team here or virtually? I see a couple Q&As. Are they from me or? Is there a cost to the Tech Refresh program? Well, as I said, if it's part of your renewal, it's just embedded. Depending on the scope, we have two price points. One is 10K, one is 20K. It's a fixed scope, fixed price. Oh, thank you, Paul. Okay. All right. Anything else? I think we're good. All right. Thanks, everybody, so much. And looking forward to many more of these sessions this year. Okay.
Thank you, Dan. Thanks, Dan. All right, guys. That is all that I had for you guys and Dan had for you guys. And now we're going to start over and turn it over to Dave and Angie to begin. After the meeting, as I have up here, you will receive, like we normally do, I'll send you guys the virtual link for the evaluation form. If you could please fill that out for us at the end of the meeting, that would be great. One other topic that just came to mind for me, I know a lot of you guys have been asking about a summit. Just want to let you guys know that that is something that is in discussion with our team. Nothing has been planned as of yet, but that is a discussion. We are working on something. We'll let you guys know, and you'll hear from us as soon as we have a concrete answer for that. So I know that's been a question that a ton of you guys have been asking. All right, Dave, Angie, you guys ready?
Ready.
This one? Yep.
Welcome, everybody. So just a little bit about, IBI. Everybody's familiar with us here. Many of you are longtime customers. We deliver modern data and analytics software platform. And we're here today to talk about the Hub. I'm going to give you a bit of an overview on the Hub. Some folks are familiar with it, but we want to talk a little bit about the story behind the story. So I'm going to give you a bit of a background on it. I'll share with you some summary of the Hub features, and hopefully I won't steal too much of Angie's thunder. She's going to give a demo of the things that I'm going to talk about. So let's get started. We hope to leave enough time for Q&A as well. Okay, so what is the WebFOCUS Hub? So many customers here, longtime customers, they know the landscape. This is sort of an ecosystem of WebFOCUS. I started here about 3 years ago, just shy of 3 years. And this is the ecosystem that I started to. A very, robust set of capabilities, but everything was sort of separate. There was different types of users focusing on different areas of the product. Everybody would sort of go to their areas, but there was sort of a disjointed and not very connected experience. And so we, as designers and product, we knew that there was a lot of opportunity here. How can we bring this together and make it more usable and more friendly? There's lots of industry examples out there that we were exploring. And so we knew that we could bring this together and provide a much better experience for our customers. This is just sort of a sampling of what's out there. This is not everything, but you could see just how many different areas of the product there are that we were trying to bring together. So the process of how we went about this was, as designers, as PM, we all sort of leverage industry best practices. We all sort of know what we would do, but of course, the customer voice is what is most important here. So we embarked upon a bit of a research journey, trying to really truly identify who our users are, what their pain points are, what their needs are, and how we can best craft the new Hub experience specifically for them. So this is just sort of a sampling of the users and the different types that we've started to identify and sort of refer to as user types or personas. The ones on the left, we sort of know very much about, and there's a set on the right that are still, upcoming and exploring. We're never done learning about our customers. We're never done learning about how people find value and are looking for more value out of our platform. So we continue to learn and to grow. But so, this is an example of some of the users that we've identified so far. And, we go through these exercises where we, put names and faces to them. We start to identify pain points. We put visuals. We think about the journeys that they go through. The whole purpose of these types of exercises is to really try to craft a personalized experience for each of the different users. Users are very different. They focus on different areas of the product. They do different things. So we really need to understand all the nuances of those and how some of these user types are sort of crossover across multiple areas. So we think about all the different aspects of their work, their daily routines, and how we can craft it and make it more valuable to them. And so through quite a bit of research, focus groups, talking with customers through our support team, talking with folks like yourselves, we started to identify areas of focus, the big opportunities across the platform. And these are a couple of the themes that we've uncovered. No matter which type of user that you are, which role that you're in, the type of work that you do, everybody was looking for these types of things in the platform. Enhanced workflows, easier access to the information, easier to find the files that I'm looking for in a sea of files. I might manage, thousands of different data sets or thousands of visualizations. So how can I keep them organized and find them quickly? And how can I, extract insights out of those things? How can the platform provide relevancy to me? How can it, push things to me that it knows that I might be looking for, or that, my colleagues have been interacting with? contextual experiences, again, enriched with intelligence. Intelligence is woven throughout the fabric of our society today. And, you know, we're trying to make sure that it is done in a thoughtful way throughout the product. So these are the common themes that we've heard from everybody. And these are the themes that we've, you know, spent the last couple of years trying to integrate into the hub. And so through all that process, through a bit of trial and error, through speaking with customers, through brainstorming and working with our product team, we came up with, you know, what you see on the screen here today, which is the WebFOCUS Hub. The hub is a central launching point. It's the front door to the platform. So no longer would people need to go directly to the area that they want to focus in. No longer would they need to manage each of the different areas from an administration standpoint from different areas. Now everything is centrally located through one front door. Now folks might still from here branch off and go to their respective areas and spend the majority of their time there. But this can be the gateway to those areas, and it sort of connects everything in a very smart and intelligent way. We called it the hub because it really is the central focal point, and you know, all the rest of the products and the platforms sit around this. So this really truly brings everything together. So that's a bit of the backstory and the history behind how we conceptualized the hub and how a lot of it came from the feedback that we were getting from our customers, from everybody on the line and in the room today. So a couple of the key features that I wanted to cover through that process is on the next few slides. So it was really important for the hub. The hub is sort of a consumption layer. This is where you go to find things, to review things, to understand things, to share them out. So we felt like this needed to be responsive. It needed to be accessible on multiple devices. A lot of the tools are very complex, lots of features, require big screens. So not everything is mobile optimized, but the hub is mobile optimized. And it's a way that I can easily find the stuff, as I said, and be able to consume it and share it and do some reduced set of capabilities. So it doesn't offer everything, but it will over time. And for now, like we've integrated many great things like search to help put things at your fingertips and really make it you know, what people are looking for on the go.
There was one question as we're going through. Can you clarify what's new for 9.1, the latest release?
Sure.
What was there?
Sure, I will try to do that. Yep. So recents and favorites, and Angie, you can keep me honest here too, because a lot of the last couple of years were a bit of a blur of what we released when. But so recents and favorites, you'll see here, recents and favorites used to be on the old 8207 homepage. You might have recents and favorites also in the reporting server. So we brought recents and favorites over to the hub naturally. But the very first release, the recents and favorites were really only on the client side. It didn't really focus on the recents and favorites of the server side. So with one of the last releases, I think it was the 9. Well, 9.0 had recents favorites. And then in the next release, we brought together the combination of recents and favorites with the unified view. So you see now the content and the data tab here. So whether I'm on the recents or the favorites, it brings them together. So it's still, you toggle between those two experiences. It's not one seamless flow like you're going to see in search in a bit, but they are there. So that was a really big improvement. So this slide shows, this was really like a struggle, and it was one of the biggest accomplishments I think that we did as a team. So you saw one of the earlier slides, that ecosystem, all of those different areas of the product that we were bringing together. So one of the hardest parts that we had to do in the hub was to sort of unify the design. It had to feel like one platform, one set of controls, one design system, one set of brand guidelines, so that you truly felt like you were accessing one tool. And so as you navigate each of the different areas of the hub, down the left-hand side, you can go to the home area, you can go to workspaces, you can go to application directories. We took a lot of care and we spent a lot of time trying to figure out how we can streamline the design, make each of those different areas feel more common and more similar. We styled buttons and put them in certain areas so that it felt similar and common. We introduced new things like the plus menu in the upper left, where you can trigger new workflows while still maintaining some of the individual triggers from within the area. So right-clicking will give you menus where you can take action on things. We've got task bars up across the top where you can sort the view between tile view and list view. I can sort and order. I can even trigger different workflows from the buttons. But now it's all starting to come together. So what felt like a bunch of separate systems, now we brought them together into the hub, and now they start to look and feel as if it's a singular platform. And so I sort of skipped over when we did that. You know, we started that right away. We still continue to evolve that styling. So I think, you know, the first iteration of the hub had that styling, but we continue to improve and enhance those different areas with each release. So there's a couple of additional areas. I don't want to steal too much of Angie's thunder because she's going to give demos on these. So I'm going to walk over the next few slides at a very high level because you're going to see more of them as Angie goes through them. The Explore data is a new feature in the hub, but it's not new to the platform. The Get Insights tab, the feature that I'm showing on the tab here, we introduced that back in Designer, I think in 8207, right? Mm-hmm. So as you select your data source, you can click on the Insights tab there, and it generates the insights that you can review, you can save, you can add them to your canvas. And so that one feature, like, is really important, has a lot of value for people, but not everybody saw it because not everybody goes to Designer, not everybody uses that area of the product. You know, we're focusing on some of the new user types, like the business users that I showed on one of those earlier slides. And they spend a lot of the time in the hub. They're consuming their content. It's being shared with them, they're reviewing it, they're saving it, they're building you know, portals and sharing out with others. So they're not necessarily going to some of these other areas of the product, and therefore they wouldn't have seen the Insights feature there. So, you know, what we're trying to do is make some of these features portable. We're trying to build them in a way that they're smart and they add value for the user in the area that they're in, but we can also plug them into other areas of the platform in smart ways to add value there and for those users. And Insights was one of the first. So we took the core functionality that we already had in Designer, and we introduced it into the hub. So now from a menu, you go to the plus menu, Explore Data, and now I have the ability to run Insights. I select my data source and I get the same insights that I got over in Designer. It's the same engine, we just had to really expose it here for the audience who spends the majority of their time in the hub. One of the newer additions, and we're also partnering it with Explore Data, is natural language queries. So here I can toggle back and forth. I can either let the system generate the automated insights for me and use those, or I can ask questions against the data. So I can tailor the queries based on, you know, just natural language processing. You know, we give you some suggested helper hints in the dropdown to let you know, like, you know, what you can ask questions against in the data source that you selected. So we're continuing to improve upon this, but it's a really nice partnership with the insights. The insights are sort of system driven, and the NLQ is like, you know, the user saying what it is that they want to explore more. So Angie's going to give, you know, a bit more of insights about how that works. And then, of course, search. Search is always like the bane of every platform's existence, and everybody always has terrible things to say about search. So I think we've done a really great job at, you know, enhancing the search capabilities, adding in the advanced capabilities to narrow the results. So I think this is what we launched in 9.1, right? We launched search. And we launched it pretty much with what you see here today. So we moved, search used to be like on the old WebFOCUS homepage, it was, you know, a bar up in the top. Well, we made it now its own plugin on the left side navigation bar. So it's its own full experience. I can really finely tune, you know, what it is I'm looking for, where I'm looking for it, where it might reside, whether it's, you know, sits more on the content side or on the server side. and the results. This is a new area that we developed that we're going to be utilizing back in some of those other areas. This is truly the first unified set of results. So what you get back on the page is a combination of content and data. Even though they reside in separate repositories, we're now displaying them in a singular view here. So we're eventually going to be rolling this back out. And on the Recents and Favorites tab, where I was showing you how those are sort of separated between two different tabs, eventually it's going to be one unified view like you're seeing here. And so the search, we call it a global search, but it really is a platform-wide search. So this was a really great addition to the hub. And a lot of what we have been hearing of customers, customer complaints and requests for a very long time. And some of the new features that we're going to be introducing soon in search, we launched it with a sort of a minimal set of capabilities, the core capabilities that people were asking for, and we continue to enhance it. So some of the upcoming enhancements are, you'll be able to take a lot more action on the item. So I think we launched it where you can locate the item from a right click, and it takes you to where it resides, and then from there you trigger the workflow with whatever you want to do with that item. Now you can do that right from the results. So in an upcoming release, you right click on the results, you get the same menu that you would have seen where it resides in its own repository, and you can also now trigger the properties panel. So you get everything here in search for each individual item that you would have gotten in its original location. And last but not least is coming soon, the white labeling feature. So we've been hearing this a lot. Since I started, people have been asking for ability to brand WebFOCUS to make it look and feel like their own organization and to be able to do it easily. Many organizations are doing it, but it's a bit technical. We provide documentation, they work with their engineering teams, so they can achieve white labeling, making it look and feel like their own organization, but we're enabling them to do it even easier right within the product. So we're launching a new area for white labeling in the administration section, so administrators can go in, they can update colors, they can update the logos and the headers in the different areas, they can change tabs, tab labels and favicons. So this is a really great feature, and I can't wait for everybody to see it and what Angie's about to show. So with that, I will turn it over to Angie and her demo.
Okay. All right. Hey everyone. So let me stop sharing the, whoops, wrong button. All right, so we're going to do a live demo. All right, so we're going to start off going into the hub. So when I first log in, no matter what user I'm logging in with, like Dave mentioned, the hub is that landing page, that initial starting point that you get to. Forgive this little bit of slowness, I'm on the Wi-Fi, lots of people connecting. So that landing page is meant to be available for everyone, no matter what your user type is. So whether you're an admin, whether you're a run-only user, that you're just wanting to view content, or maybe you're a data analyst where you want to go in and train models and work with our modeling functions or work with some of our NLQ. Doesn't matter what user type you are, you'll come into the hub. So when you first come into the hub, the very, very first time, you'll get landed on this home area. And this is where you have the recents that Dave mentioned. You also have My Workspace, which is a collection of all your My Content folders across all of your workspaces. And also favorites as well. And another piece here is that it's favorites from both the client-side repository and your reporting server apps directories. You can access both of them in the same area. No need to open multiple windows to get to them. Also in the hub, the management center is unified as well now. So just clicking down there, we have the client administration, the server administration. Here you actually can have multiple reporting servers. So if you're set up for clustering where you have maybe 4 different reporting servers connected to one WebFOCUS client instance, you actually can see them in this list and be able to select them from that list and manage each one of them in one location. And then also the workspaces area is where you have all your repository files. That's where you save your designer files, create your portals, generate your and really save all of your GUI-based reports and charts and everything. And the applications directory is where you have the, sorry about this, Wi-Fi, where you have your metadata files, saving your hold files, your data files as well. Sort of the familiar reporting server view that you're used to if you have been using WebFOCUS for years, but now available directly in the hub. No need for a separate window again. All right. So also in the hub, we have the Explore data. So Dave talked about that a little bit. It's available from the plus menu up here. So I can go to Explore data. And really, I can do multiple things in here. So I can choose my file that I want to explore against. I'm going to choose this loans file. And I have two pieces here. I can ask a question or I can get insights. And the get insights is that instant insight, same that's available in designer authoring mode as well, but accessed here from the hub. I can also switch data sources if I change my mind. So I could come in here and choose a different data source if I want to change which data source I want to explore further. And then also the real flexibility here is that I'll be able to switch back and forth between these two tabs as well. So as my insights are running, maybe I want to come and ask a question here. Maybe I want to know about the application types. So what are application types? And you see it's auto-populating my fields for me. I don't necessarily need to know what the column names are. It will auto-populate there. So this is just a very simple output. It just gives me the two different application types. Over on my Insights tab, these are now the 33 insights that had been generated against this data source. So what I just saw, the two application types, individual or joint. Individual is by far the majority there. I have single column insights like a histogram of interest rate values, for example. I also have pairs of columns if I want to look at correlations between columns, and time series will show me trends over time. So as I'm going through this, so I'm seeing the interest rates in their various bins that have been defined. I see that there's application types. So as I'm in here, maybe it makes me think, okay, well, I want to know what's the average interest rate for each application type. I can come over here, go to ask a question and say exactly that. What is the average interest rate? Select my column by application type. And here's my result. And I can see like for individual and joint separated out by the two different terms that we have. And this is great. This is really interesting to me. And now I want to show this maybe to my boss, right? And so I have a developer on my team, really great at making portals and dashboards. So now I want him to use this information and put it in a pretty page that I could print out or display on a portal. But it's not so easy as I can't just like hand him my laptop and say, here you go, put these on a page, right? But I do have a lot of options here. So I can actually save this output, the result of what I just asked. And then let me go into the workspace my developer has access to. And I'll call it Exploring Interest Rate by Application Type. But I don't want just that one. I also want my boss to see like, oh, the different types of applications that we have. So I can save this as well. So all of these outputs from the insights or my results from asking questions, I'm able to save. So explore application types. And maybe I also want that histogram. Save this one as well. All right, so save these now. I want to go send them to my developer, but maybe I get a phone call, I get interrupted, or someone wants to go out to lunch and I step away for an hour. And now I don't remember where I put those files. I know I all called them the same thing. I all started with EXP because that's how I named them, but I can't remember what folder I saved them in, right? So that's where the search really comes in and is really powerful. So I can go to my search area. I don't have to remember the whole name. I don't have to remember the whole folder. I know they started with EXP, so I'll just type that in. And over here, yep, I have the interest rate by application type. I have my interest rate. I have my app types. I'm using Shift-click to multi-select those. And now I can right-click on those and either share them or publish them, whatever my options are, to make them available to my developer. Okay. So it looks like I actually made a mistake and I saved these in the wrong folder, but that's okay. Maybe my developer says like, oh, I don't know where those went. I don't see them, but that's easy. I can find that file here. And it was the application types. And I go, oh, it's not in the folder that you want. Where is it? So I can right click on that, say locate item. It's not going to navigate me now directly to that folder that I had saved it in. Yeah, and it was in the My Content folder instead of the Archer folder. So that's what the problem was. So here I can, again, use Shift-click to copy these, right-click, say copy, come to my Archer folder that my developer has access to, and say paste. All right, so now I have the 3 files in the Archer folder. And now I can publish them so that my developer can see them. So let's actually see what that developer would see as well. So I'm going to switch screens. I think I'm going to have to stop sharing and share the other one. All right. So now I'm here as my developer. Whoops. Again, I'm landing into the hub. That's my landing place for no matter what user type I am, no matter what I'm trying to access. My developer has more limited access than the admin. I only have access to that one workspace, Archer. But when I come in here, I can see the 3 files that the first person had discovered by exploring the data. So let me just put those files into a page. That's what the request was. Put it all in a page so we can show the big boss the results there. So I come into Designer, just quickly add the 3 pieces of content there. Interest rates. Okay. I'm going to move this one over a little because I know that I found these things from exploring the data, and there's a really high chance that after this dashboard is made, the person viewing it is going to want to know more information as well, beyond what is just on this page that I'm creating. So we actually have a new container type in Designer that is the Explore Data container as well. So I'm going to drag that onto our canvas. And here I configure my data source that I want to connect to. So I'm going to choose that same loans file. I could put a nicer name for it, maybe just call it loans data. And then from here, if I just run this, so this is now a runtime view of this page. This may be something that is sent as a link. My layout's a little bit off. I should have shifted some things around. Sent as a link to someone else in the company, maybe published on a portal that many people have access to. But now anyone who comes to this dashboard can use the NLQ functionality, that ask a question functionality here. So if I want to know more, I'm looking at interest rates and loan types, but maybe I also want to know about the total loan amounts. So what are the loan amounts by application types? So even in a runtime view here, I can type in a question, ask, and get my result back as well. All right. So I think that is it for the search and NLQ piece. Have there been any questions that have come in?
There have been a few questions, but I think we've answered them.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So let me close a couple of windows here because the last thing that I want to show is the white labeling.
So one of the questions was when the white labeling be available?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, so the question that came in was, when will white labeling be available? And we are planning on the 9.2 release, which is coming soon. It's our next release that's going to come out. So white labeling will be available in that release. Okay.
And there is one question. NLQ does it require a unique server?
Unique server. Oh, yeah. So the question that came in, does NLQ require unique server? And Vijay, correct me if I'm wrong on this. It is a separate server instance that is brought up, but currently included with the WebFOCUS packaging, right? Okay. Yes. Yeah, good point. Yeah, so the NLQ service server, it can be shipped as a container as well. And WebFOCUS 2 is containerized. All right. Sure. Let me just open up the Q&A here and I'll see if I can answer some of them. All right. Can I create a business view for external users to explore and limit the fields within the business view? We are working on multi-fact tables or business views, being able to explore those. In the designer view, you can add multiple sources there as well. So even if it is even if you have maybe 2 or 3 sources in the designer container, you can add all 2 or 3 of them, however many you want. Okay. And what is the data size I've used for NLP? That is, I believe it's 100,000 records. I can double check that later and give you a feedback response on that. Yeah, the installation side doesn't exceed megabytes. In terms of the number of data records that I was running against in this demo, I believe it's 100,000 that I use. Okay, awesome. Thanks. Yeah. Undelete. So the question was, in the hub, are we going to incorporate sort of like a undo or a if I accidentally delete something, a way to bring it back? We are looking into it. It's not in the 9.2 release, not our next release, but we are still looking into that for sure. Yes. The, oh no, what did I just do feature? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the question was for the explore dialogue that you could bring up, being able to limit, especially the record size on that, so that as I'm asking questions, as I'm doing things, like if I'm going against maybe millions and millions of records, it could take a long time. The instant insights automatically has sampling. So the insights that are generated do use a sample set that's representative of the whole set. Asking a question, we're looking into the performance. That's one of our priorities for that one. Okay. Any other questions in the room?
One more.
Sure. Will designers support HTML selection pages along with pages? So I think this is asking if we can mix App Studio HTML pages into the designer pages. There is some functionality already there where you can add those App Studio HTML pages to the designer page. The filtering is Gets a little bit tricky sometimes when you have filters on the designer page and filters in your App Studio page. Not impossible though, it just takes a little bit of coordination to make sure you're not getting double values. Okay. Yeah.
Can you do the search on internal names?
Yeah.
Because sometimes that's what shows up.
Right. Yeah, so the question was for the search, can I search on the internal names? And yes, so currently, let me actually just switch back over there. So currently we search on 4 areas: the title, so the display name you see, the name, which is like the internal name, usually has underscores in it and so on, tags, so if you've set up any sort of tags on the content, and there's one other one that I am blanking on right now. Dave, do you remember the 4th one? Location, I know we are working on as well. Might be. Yeah. And then some of the other filtering there as well is you can narrow down by file type. So if you only want to find a master file, or if you only want to find a schedule, for example, you can filter on the file type. Let's see, summary, that was the one I forgot. So summary as well, and this is summaries, the descriptions for your client-side files. For your master files, this ties to the remarks that are defined in the master file. Okay, any other questions? Yeah, I see. So there's a one in the Q&A. How do we integrate collaborative portals into current 9X releases? So we're still supporting the collaborative portals. You like as you're upgrading, they should still run and work correctly. All of our new enhancements are going into the designer portals. So we encourage use of the designer portals as well. And we're working on adding some features there as well over the next couple of releases to make that experience better as well. Okay. All right, I do want to show off the white labeling. So I'm going to go to that, but keep typing in your questions and we will answer them as we go. All right, so white labeling, new section in the admin area. Very simple to get to. It is available only to administrators because it is going to affect every user across your whole environment. So simple to turn on, you just click the checkbox at the top and you see it activates all the pieces underneath. So some of the things I can change here, I can update my favicon, the little icon that's at the top of the browser. So I'm just gonna, I have some prepared files, gonna show some updates here. I can update my logos, like if I want a new logo here, I can choose my company's name logo here instead. Sorry, I had to move the Zoom window out of the way. So I can do that for the hub is the first one. The WebFOCUS homepage. So that's if you go up to your user menu, go to WebFOCUS homepage, that one. The reporting server, so this is the one that you'll see in your data flow. If you open up data flow, also some of the other business views and other reporting server functionalities, and also designer. So if I wanted to change the name of designer, I could, or if I just wanted to put my company name at the front of it. So other than the logos, I can also change the actual tab titles of the browser itself. So instead of ibi WebFOCUS, maybe I want to do WCE- at the beginning of all of my different browser tabs. Thanks. So when I click save, this is going to save for me. So I can do a sort of preview of what I'm working on here. So I've clicked save and now you can see I have the new logo up here in the corner, up in the browser tab title. It has my new text there. It has my new red favicon. But just logos and tab titles, not enough. Every company has their own brand, has their own colors, right? So that's where the color palette tab comes in. So in here, I can actually make changes here as well. So I can put in a hex code of more of an orangish red color. And as I go through this list, I have the name of what I'm changing, primary color, color dark, and also a description of the usage. What is that color? How is that actually being used? So I can change 2 of them here. When I click save, I'll start seeing the changes for myself. You see like my links change color over here. When I hover over them, they look a little different. But that's just for me so far. So if I go to my developer, for example, I'm going to switch back and forth a little bit here. I say refresh. I don't see anything yet because it's as I'm developing this, as I'm testing out things, I want to make sure everything looks right and is the right colors and there's no weird contrasts where maybe my background color and my font color are the same thing and now I can't read my text on it anymore. And that's intentional. So as you're developing the white labeling and as you're playing around with it, you save it just for yourself. It's not until I hit this publish button where it will show up for everyone else. But I also haven't quite finished yet in here. I still have a lot of these blue colors which don't match my company's theme. And maybe I have a marketing team or a UX team that I want to work with that really defines the company's entire brand. And so what I can do is download the version of these colors. It's going to download the names plus the hex codes. So let me see. I'm having issues with sharing screens here, so forgive me. So this is an example of what gets downloaded when you choose that option. So it gives you the names of the different variables plus the hex codes. I can send this out to my marketing team, send it to a UX designer and say, here's all the values that I have now, give me the correct ones to put in. Gives me the correct values. What do I do with it now? Now all I have is a text file, and that's where the upload comes in. So once I get my color palette text back from my designer, I can upload it. And now when I scroll down in here, you see all these other colors have been updated with what my marketing team or UX designer has provided. I click save, preview it for myself, and now you can see a really big change across the hub. The header has turned a black color, all my icons are this reddish color, even the background of the page is more, kind of has an orangish tint to it. But again, my developer is not seeing it yet. I haven't hit publish. So I'm going to go ahead and do that publish. And now when I switch back to the developer and do a refresh on this page, now I'm seeing all the updates there. And like I said, this is across all the different areas, the reporting server, designer. So even when I come in here and say create visualizations now, I'm still going to see that same color palette in designer as well. And I see my new logo up there. Everything has been carried through the whole product. So you really can do an entire white label rebranding of WebFOCUS. Embedded solutions, this is so important whenever you want to include WebFOCUS in your broader application and make it look and feel like one experience.
Maybe there's a question in the chat about fonts.
Custom fonts, yeah. We did look into that. It's not implemented at this time because there were several scenarios where if you choose maybe a size 24 font, it gets a little complicated, some of the layouts. So we're still working on making sure we can accommodate all the different font types and font sizes in a way that makes sense. Yeah, thank you. So report styling is still going to use our existing themes and style sheets that are set up, but you can always create those custom themes, custom style sheets. So that part we've had for a long time, the custom themes and style sheets. So this is really taking care of everything else. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
how and when you be able to migrate content.
Yeah, so the question is, what are the plans for the desktop App Studio product? So we're working very, very hard closing the gap of functionality between App Studio and Designer. So in release 9.0, we added the ability for hold files and staging tables and the data flow of Designer. In 9.1, we introduced document mode in Designer, where you could create your compound reports or the PDF reports. We also introduced interactions in Designer, which is very similar to the tasks and animations that were in the App Studio HTML pages. And we have more coming. We're ticking off that list little by little, making sure all that functionality is there. As we close that gap, once we get to like a critical point of this is, if not all of the features, at least the most common ones, and that cover like 95% of what users are using, then we'll have that migration path between existing content into Designer as well. Okay. Can you do multiple white label changes? I will cover that in a second. I'll show that in just one more second. The other question there, different groups have their own color structures. So I think, Dave, are you typing an answer for that? Yeah, so right now it is a global for the environment, but how we prepared for this in the back end is in the future we'll be able to support tenant white labeling as well. So not in this next 9.2 release, but it is something we're reviewing for the future. All right, so let me show the multiple themes or different options as well. So I'll come back to the, oops, I'm still on my developer. Let me switch back to my admin view. All right, so I'll come back to white labeling. So I have this like oranges and black theme published already, and maybe I want to play around with other colors and other types. So I created a pink theme for Valentine's Day. I'll hit save here so you can see all the variation there. Lots of reds, lots of pinks, very thematic for Valentine's Day, but Valentine's Day is over. I can come in and play around as much as I want, even though I've saved this for myself and I'm looking at this for myself. My developer is not seeing any of those changes yet and won't until I hit publish. And I can play around with this as much as I want. I can also use the download and upload to save different variations as well. Like if I want to periodically with the season change my theme color of my dashboard, or sorry, of my hub, I can use that download and upload to save different variations of that as well. If I get to a point where I've played around with this, maybe I made a mistake and made the colors like really too contrasting, like lime greens and bright reds, like too much. I want a clean slate. I want to go back to what is currently published. That's why I have this revert to last publish button. And so what this does, you'll see it with this pink theme. When I revert, it's going to take whatever I had last published. So the view that was for my developer last, that's what I'm going to see here. And I also have a global, I call it the factory reset button, where it just overwrites everything, removes all of it, takes you back to the ibi WebFOCUS default theming. Any questions in the room? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So our style sheets and themes, like we're still going to be supporting. We are looking into a way of saving themes. So like maybe if I've gone into Designer, customized a report with new colors that I want, being able to save that as a theme that then I could reuse for other pieces of content in the future as well. Yeah, I mean, that's why we have Dave on the team, right? He's our.
Oh, so exactly the way we crafted it for multiple users to be able to collaborate and achieve a result. We're going to want to do the same thing in WebFOCUS as well. So a release date in mind, but I mean, that's the goal. Everything should be this easy to use and this user friendly.
Yeah. Yeah, so just to summarize all that for the virtual half was, can we have an easy UI like the white labeling for themes for reports and dashboards as well? And we don't yet. It is something that we are striving towards, to have really everything that we're doing in WebFOCUS be this simple, this intuitive, this easy to do. That's one of our driving goals for sure. There was a question that came in, where are these changes getting saved? In the repository or flat files? So some of it is saved in your local data, your sort of local information for your specific user ID. Once you are publishing it, it's saved in a configuration file, internal file that is able to be read by all different types of users. It's not one that can be accessed. It's not in the repository as a file. You won't have direct access to it. It is just from this UI that you can make changes to that. But it's saved in a location that can be read by everybody.
In the future, it'll be accessible when you can manage multiple themes, turn on, turn off, apply for different tenants. So for now, it's saved in the back end, but it's not accessible. We'll enable that. Well, so that, yes, so that you can see where it's stored, you can manage them, manage the files there. And there's additional enhancements like the custom sign-in that we're still working on that are going to require some of those additional enhancements. So this is really like an MVP deal, and we have a lot in store that we have planned.
Yeah, so the question was, in a scenario where I've made these changes maybe in my dev environment, and now I want to push that to my production environment instead. So that scenario, your images, you're going to upload the images, you'll have them available, so you can just upload them in the same UI in production as well. And then that's where the download and upload of that color palette really is helpful. You can download from dev, upload to prod, and all of those same colors will take effect there. Yep. Yeah.
Is there, like, for example, there's a matrix, so just that when I look and say, okay, this is what designer is doing, and the other general categories, and then the details are. So from a management longer term decision-making process,
yeah.
Me being a designer, and I already know everything about this stuff.
Yep. Yeah. So the question. Yeah, the question was, is there a matrix showing what's available in InfoAssist and App Studio versus what's available in Designer? I talked about how we're closing that gap. And we have a document that is distributed by support right now. We are looking into options for publishing that now that we have the ibi.com available, so that it's available to everyone. But in that document as well, it also gives timelines, whether it's like a couple of things we have for first half this year, second half this year, and things that are beyond. All right. So I know we're running up against our time. If there are more questions, I would say feel free to reach out, put them in, I guess the Zoom chat is going to end, but feel free to reach out to us on the feedback form or through support, and we'll do our best to answer all of them.
Thank you, Angie. Awesome. All right, everyone. So just a couple reminders for those of you on the line. We did record today's session, so we will be sending out a copy of that recording to you guys. As well as immediately once the session is over, I will send out the evaluation link if you guys wouldn't mind to please fill that out for us. And real quick, for those of you who are on the line, I'm going to push out a quick poll. We'd like to get your feedback on for our next in-person. As you know, like I said at the beginning, we're super excited to bring back the in-person user groups. And so we definitely want to hear from you guys of, areas that you guys would like to see us visit. So I'm going to launch the poll. I know you guys here with us are not going to be able to see it, but those of you online, if you guys could submit some answers for us, and we'd love to get your feedback for that. I'll leave that up there for a few minutes while I finish up my conclusion. Wow, y'all are really responding. I love it. Thank you. They're like coming in left and right. Yes, thank you guys. So yes, as a reminder, I will send out a copy of the recording and the presentations that you saw today. And then if you guys have any other additional questions, just feel free to put those on the evaluation link in the evaluation form, and we'll make sure that our team gets back to you and gets those answered. Anything else, guys? We're good? Okay. Well, we want to thank you guys for joining us online today. This will conclude the virtual portion of our meeting today. We will see y'all at the next user group, whether that's in person or our next virtual. Again, reminder, visit ibi.com. You'll be able to see all the upcoming events and get registered and save your seat for those. So again, thank you all for joining us virtually, and we will talk to you guys soon.